Haribo.
Haribo, Gaura, Haribo.
Haribo.
Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Thank you, Maharaj, for kindly being present here. Today, as His Holiness Śacīnandana Maharaj said in the afternoon, he had to go for a program nearby, but most likely we are expecting him around the end of the program. So we are missing him today, but I'm very thankful to all of you for kindly having come here once again. Thank you so much for kindly being present here. This is the fourth part of the series on Beyond Bhoga and Tyaga. And dear devotees, today morning Mahārāja spoke wonderfully about the fifth quality of attaining great heights in japa. And does anybody remember what is that quality? Avyagratvam. Avyagratvam is non-haste. And Mahārāja wonderfully described how one should not be in a hurry to complete a certain number of rounds. So when Mahārāja was speaking that, I was reminded of one particular incident which had occurred back in 2004. I remember it was the disappearance day of Srila Haridas Thakur, and one particular devotee had organized 128 rounds japa marathon. So, and a lot of advertisement was done, and there were prizes announced that anybody who will chant 64 rounds will get bronze medal. Anybody who chants about 100 rounds will get silver medal, and whosoever completes 128 rounds gets the gold medal. So I wanted to go for the gold. So I prepared myself on that day, slept properly on the previous day, woke up and came to the venue, and I started chanting. And first 32 rounds were very good. And then after the first 32 rounds, for every round I was trying to find eagerly bead is coming up. So 32 to 64, I struggled a lot. After 64, I knew I had to go to 100 in order to get the silver medal. So I could go up to 75, and then I decided my bronze is also gold. So I came back home, and I was completely exhausted. I took rest. Next day I woke up. My mind is telling me today you have to chant 16 rounds. So another part of my mind is telling me you have already chanted 4 days worth of my time. So, you already have surplus credit in your bank account, so might as well live free for 4 days. But the next day I struggled a lot to chant 16 rounds. And by the time it was evening, my mind was in panic mode that I have not begun a single round. So next day I finished my rounds by 12 o'clock midnight. Well, at least I managed to finish my rounds. So, 1 week later, that devotee who was organizing the japa marathon, he called everybody and he said, there's a big problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, devotees came to the center on the japa marathon day, but after that, most of the devotees are not to be seen anymore. Usually they used to come every day and chant their rounds, but after Japa Marathon, they have not seen for more than 2 weeks. So, in my mind I said, I couldn't muster up the courage to say it directly. In my mind I said, well, they followed Sri Haridas Thakur in his footsteps. Because Sri Haridas Thakur used to chant so many lakhs of names. They also chanted so many lakhs of names. Is it true? Yes. Sri Haridas Thakur. So that is what I was reminded of when Mahārāja was speaking of Avyagratvam. Anyway, we have to begin with a proper Mangalacharan, dear devotees. Hasya Ras is not Mangalacharan, so let's begin with a proper Mangalacharan. Most of us know these verses, you can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupah Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghurathanvitam Tam Sajivam Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Nitaya Gaur Premanande. So I am confident that the verses that we have discussed from the various poetries have certainly managed to touch your heart. At least one of the verses that we have shown in the previous days might have touched your heart. Dear devotees, a Hari Bol. But it was avidya. Dear devotees, all right? All that Bhartri Hari's poetry is categorized into one simple term, and what is that? Avidya. So if avidya can touch your heart, imagine what vidya can do. Vidya can pierce your heart. And that is my motivation here today. So, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, in the Chaitanya Charitamritam, he quotes a verse from the Nala Champu, Sri Trivikram Pandit. And this verse is very beautiful. He quotes the verse as it is. Kindly repeat after me. Kim kavyena kavestasya Kim kandena dhanushmatah Parasya hridaye lagnam न घूर्णयति यच्छिरः किम काव्येन कवेस्तस्य किम कांडेन dhanushmata. Srila Prabhupada translates, what is the use of a bowman's arrow? Or what is the use of a poet's poetry if they penetrate the heart but do not cause the head to spin? So, poetry as well as arrows should perform two functions. They should pierce the heart and they should make the head spin. And that is the purpose today. Dear devotees, all of you are the audience, and today I have been selected as the speaker. There should be some relationship between the speaker and the audience. And for establishing this relationship, especially because we are heading into the domain of Vidya, so I wish to establish a completely new relationship with all of you. And in order to establish a new relationship, we need a new verse, because this is poetry, dear devotees. So if I have your permission, I wish to display a newly created verse. Alright, so this is a verse in the meter, Vasanta Tilakam. Same as Brahma Samhita, I'll try to sing. Please repeat after me. कार्पास सूत्रमिव यद्यपि तुच्छमस्मि यूयं सुगन्धियुतपुष्पनिभास्तथापि न सङ्गतिर्हि भवतु स्रगिवात्र भक्ता शास्त्रक्च भूषयतु सुन्दर राधिकाङ्ग्रे. So, Karpasa Sutram Iva Yadyapi Tucham Asmi. I may be as useless as a thread of cotton. So, dear devotees, if I find a spare thread of cotton somewhere here, I'll just pick it up and throw it away. Because individual threads of cotton have no use whatsoever. So I am as useless as a thread of cotton. But yuyam, all of you, and your hearts, sugandhi yuta pushpa nibhas. All of you have hearts that are exactly like flowers. Dear devotees, what happens when a cotton thread and flowers come together? Oh, wonderful. Huh? So let me take the role of the insignificant cotton thread. Nah sangatir hi bhavatu. Our coming together here, let it be like the coming together of a cotton thread and flowers. And may this fragrant garland bhushayatu, decorate Sundara Radhikangri, the beautiful lotus feet of Sri Radha. Please read.
Dear devotees, it may be as useless as a straight thread of cotton. However, you all are certainly delightful, fragrant, fresh flowers. May our meeting here today result in the formation of a beautiful flower garland, and may this fragrant garland decorate the beautiful 2 feet of Sri Radha.
So let this be the result of Dear devotees, a garland is not made simply by the coming together of a thread and flowers. Because a thread by itself cannot perform the function of piercing the flower. Do you agree? So something is missing in the verse. Needle is missing, isn't it? So the verse is incomplete. Sorry, I am not a good poet. But no worries, dear devotees, we have another verse for the missing needle, alright? Suchim vina kimapi sutramiha prasuna भेदायनालमिति तथ्यमति प्रसिद्धम् आचार्यवाक्यदृढसूचिकया सहाहम् पौष्पं हृदद्य भवतां खलु छिद्रयिष्ये। Suchim vina, without a suchi, without a needle, kimapi sutramiha, any thread, prasuna bhedaya nalam, cannot pierce any flower. Iti tathyam ati prasiddham, this fact is well known. Therefore, dear devotees, I take shelter of the needle-like words of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and the previous acharyas. Acharya vakya drida suchikaya saha aham. And along with the sharp needle of their words, paushpam hridadya bhavatam khalu chidrayishe, I am confident that we will be able to pierce the flower-like hearts of all of you.
However, it is a well-known fact that any thread in this world cannot pierce a flower until it takes the help of a needle. I am a thread, and thus I too take shelter of the strong needle of the words of the previous acharyas. With help of this sharp needle, I will certainly pierce the hearts of all of you, beautiful flowers, to create a beautiful garland for Sri Radha.
Yeah. So, Sri Rupa Goswami, he never began a literature or he never began a drama without first glorifying the audience. Glorification of the audience is of utmost essence in Vaishnava culture, because as I said, respect is mutual. In Vaishnava culture, when a particular person is made to sit on the Vyasasana and given a garland, respect is indicated from the side of the audience towards the speaker. But the speaker should not just receive respect, the speaker should also give. Dadati prati grihnati. That there is always give and take of respect, and hence this tradition of also giving respect to the audience. And I'll say one thing, in the previous 3 sessions, we might have heard of a lot of enjoyment and a lot of distress. Please tell me who suffered more, Pururava or Bhartrihari? Both suffered. Urvashi left Pururava, and Pururava became a madman searching for her. Pururava became a madman searching for her. Travelled across the entire country looking for her to find one glimpse of her, but could not easily get a single glimpse of her. After quite some time, one day on the banks of a river, he saw Urvashi along with some of the other heavenly damsels, and he loudly cried out, "Aho jaye tishta tishta, please wait, don't leave me. I promise you I won't trouble you. But I just want to ask you one thing." And after so many years of missing her, there's only one thing that Pururava wanted to ask her. "Can I speak a few words to you?" That's all. I don't expect that you'll come with me or you'll stay with me. I know our marriage was not meant to be. I understand that you belong to a different society. I understand that our love was doomed to failure from the first day. But I just want to speak a few words to you. And Urvashi said, "What words? Are you all right?" That's all. Are you okay? Because even in such separation, Pururava was concerned about the well-being of Urvashi. Whereas Urvashi had very little concern for the well-being of Pururava. Pururava played his part, did his responsibility. As I said yesterday, adhikar, does adhikar mean rights or does adhikar means responsibility? Pururava carried out his responsibility. Finally, missing Urvashi very much, Pururava took Arani. Arani is stick for rubbing together and producing a fire. And meditating upon one of the sticks as himself, another stick as Urvashi, and a stick in between, he started rubbing them together. And finally, when he was doing that, Satya Yuga changed into Treta Yuga. So the first Vedic sacrifice to get promoted to Swarga was performed by none other than Pururava. And he ended up going to Swarga. Finally, he attained the object of his love. It all ended happily for him. He ended up going to Swarga. From there he may liberate himself, Krama Mukti, but at least he attained his objective. So I wish to say that not all love stories end in a failure. Some do end in a success, but you may have to die once. All right? So, you may have to die once, all right? Like Pururava. No, I'm just joking. Based on our prarabdha karma, we may enter into a particular relationship or we may be deprived of a relationship based on our prarabdha karma. Whatever Bhagavan has given us, either distress or prosperity, we should accept both of them. There is a very nice verse attributed to the Narayaniyam, a wonderful commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam, which comes from Kerala. It's a very wonderful verse. Dear devotees, kindly repeat after me. Vipado naiva vipada, sampado naiva sampadaha, vipad vismaranam Vishnu, sampan Narayana smriti. Vipado naiva vipadaha. Material calamities are not truly calamities. Sampado naiva sampadaha. Material prosperity is not true prosperity. Vipad vismaranam Vishnu, sampan Narayana smriti. The real calamity is forgetting Vishnu, and real prosperity is to constantly remember him. And please think about it, because many a times in the previous talk, some of us may be laughing on Bhartrihari. We told you don't get married. Or Pururava, we told you don't get married. You will suffer. But for some individuals, after going through suffering, they are finally able to attain Bhagavan. And some individuals, after having avoided suffering, do not attain Bhagavan. So, what is more preferable? Bhagavan with suffering or no Bhagavan without suffering? Please tell me. Bhagavan with suffering. So, there are many individuals who attained Bhagavan with immense amount of suffering. And an example is Avanti Brahmana, as mentioned in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This Avanti Brahmana was a householder, but he suffered miserably in household life. And because of that suffering, he arrived at that point which he could not have arrived in happiness. Happiness is also suffering, and suffering is also happiness. Happiness is suffering when it departs, and suffering is happiness when suffering departs. Please try to understand. Happiness is suffering, and suffering is happiness. Try to look at it from this point of view. And if you ask Muni Patanjali, everything is suffering. But suffering teaches us what happiness doesn't teach us. And therefore, there is greater importance to that suffering which promotes us on the path of Krishna Bhakti. We don't want needless suffering. We are not those who indulge in self-sabotage. But that suffering which brings us closer to Bhagavan is definitely needed. And this morning, Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was quoting Kunti Maharani that she wants suffering so that her proximity towards Bhagavan should always remain. So that sort of a suffering is most glorious, irrespective of which ashram it comes in. Because the final goal should be attained. Every ashram is suffering. Brahmachari ashram is also suffering. Grihastha ashram is definitely suffering. And sannyas ashram is nothing but suffering, dear devotees. That is the reason why they are called ashram. A means complete, all round. Shram. What is shram? Hard work. So complete, all round hard work is called ashram. The only people who escape this hard work are those who are not situated in an ashram. Those who refuse to become brahmachari as well as grihastha. Brahmastra? No. It is still possible for those, they are known as anashrami. Anashrami, they are known as anashrami. It is still possible for an anashrami to attain Bhagavan, but an anashrami should live a life free of any vyabhichar. Vyabhichar is any incorrect conduct which goes against the regulations of Shastra. So an anashrami can attain, by the permission of one's guru, a person can remain an anashrami, but one should not engage in vyabhichar. Still it is possible in this age to attain Bhagavan. Now, Srila Prabhupada makes a very important statement that we are now going to go beyond Bhoga and Tyaga because real prosperity is in remembrance of Bhagavan. And we want this prosperity to arrive in our lives. So Srila Prabhupada says something. Prabhu, kindly read what Prabhupada says in the final chapter of Shri Krishna book.
In transit.
Should I? Okay, I'll read. Yeah. The transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, are so powerful that simply by hearing, reading and memorizing this book, Krishna, one is sure to be transferred to the spiritual world, which is ordinarily very difficult to achieve. The description of the pastimes of Lord Krishna is so attractive that it automatically gives us an impetus to study repeatedly. And the more we study the pastimes of the Lord, the more we become attached to Him. This very attachment to Krishna makes one eligible to be transferred to his abode, Goloka Vrindavan. So it's a very simple method to be transferred to Goloka Vrindavan. Attachment to Krishna Katha is the numero uno, number one method for attaining attachment to Shri Krishna. And when we are going to hear these verses given by Sri Rupa Goswami and previous acharyas, definitely we are going to feel some happiness in the heart, and we will also feel some distress in the heart. But one thing I'll tell you about distress, in the spiritual world or in these pastimes, distress is the highest form of happiness. And the previous acharyas will demonstrate by the verses that they give. Today we'll mainly take up verses which are pertaining to happiness and joy. And if we are attaining some happiness, although it is happiness given to us by the previous acharyas and it is not material happiness. As I said on the first day, somebody who is not expert enough can bring down divine subject matter into the mundane and profane. And somebody who is expert enough can uplift the mundane into the divine. And Vaishnavas are supposed to be expert. Daksha. It's one of the qualities of a Vaishnava. Daksha. They are expert. So all of you are Daksha Vaishnavas. And definitely the verses of Sri Rupa Goswami and the previous acharyas will not appear mundane to all of you. And whatever happiness we get, we will still offer to somebody. Dear devotees, another newly composed verse. Please repeat after me. Yadatra svaditam saukhyam tachaitanyarpanam kuru dukkham tasyartha chittasya santvanaya prayujyata. Yad atra aswaditam saukhyam. Whatever happiness was experienced by you here, dear devotees, kindly offer to one personality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because all these verses from the Padyavali, they were primarily compiled for giving happiness to this particular personality. In the Gambhira, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard all these verses from the mouths of Sri Rupa Goswami and the other devotee poets. So these verses are originally meant for the relishment of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And if all of you are deriving some happiness on hearing some of those verses, kindly offer the happiness to whom? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How do you offer it? In your mind, just say that all this happiness that I got today, at the end of the day, you can say, all this happiness that I got today, Mahaprabhu, it belongs to you. May nahi. As I say at the end, may nahi, it doesn't belong to myself. Still, Mahaprabhu will not steal away your happiness. You will have your happiness. Dukkham. And if you feel any sadness in some of the verses, tasya artha chittasya santvanaya prayujyatam. Use that sadness to feel like-mindedness to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also experiencing sadness in separation from Sri Krishna. A sad person is looking for another sad person to share their heart. Isn't it? Huh? So if Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feels some sadness, he definitely needs like-minded devotees who can share his sadness. So Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Whatever happiness was experienced by you here, kindly offer it to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any distress experienced by you should be employed for the purpose of empathizing with him and consoling his distressed heart.
And these pastimes are so sweet, Vrindavan pastimes are so sweet. What to speak of Vrindavan, even the Dwaraka pastimes are very sweet. In Sri Padyavali, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada compiles a wonderful prayer about Hastinapur and the Pandavas. Dear devotees, the Pandavas were banished from their kingdom for 12 years and they had to stay 1 year incognito. And they had been banished after humiliation of Draupadi. And when Draupadi was humiliated in the assembly of the Kauravas, she had cried out to everyone, but nobody was able to help her out at that particular point of time. Finally, she had to call out to Sri Krishna. And at that particular moment when there was nobody to help her out, it was Sri Krishna who helped her. Finally, the Pandavas, they got back their kingdom because Draupadi was about to curse the Kuru dynasty. So they got back their kingdom, but Duryodhan was not at all happy. He wanted to organize another gambling match. So Duryodhan organized another gambling match and they were again invited, and this time there was a condition kept. If the Pandavas lose, they have to go to the forest for 12 years and 1 year incognito. And if they are caught in the incognito period, then they'll have to again go to the forest for 12 years. And the Kauravas selected Shakuni again to cast the dice. And Shakuni threw the dice and the Pandavas lost again. So they had to go to the forest for 12 years. And even after going to the forest, Duryodhana's heart was not happy. One fine day, Duryodhana had invited Muni Durvasa. Many of us know this pastime, had invited Muni Durvasa, and Duryodhana had a very good kitchen. So he invited Muni Durvasa and fed Durvasa Muni along with his 60,000 disciples. And Durvasa Muni was extremely pleased by his hospitality and asked Duryodhana something. What do you want from me? Duryodhana said, I don't want anything from you, really. But I'll tell you one thing. Much better than my hospitality is Yudhishthir's hospitality. He has Akshay Patra. And that Akshay Patra constantly produces food. But can you please do one thing? Please go after noon. Because Duryodhana knew that after noon, the Akshay Patra will not produce anything. And Yudhishthir will be stuck. And then he will be cursed again. So, a particular disciple of Durvasa Muni next day in the noon arrived at Yudhishthir Mahārāja's cottage and informed that Duryodhana has glorified your cooking very much and Durvasa Muni is coming along with his 60,000 disciples. We know you have unlimited cooking capabilities. So, we are just coming. Please keep everything ready. Thank you so much. So Yudhishthir at that point of time, he understood that this is Duryodhana's plot to have him cursed. And Yudhishthir and all the Pandavas, they were sitting outside the kutir with their palms on their head, thinking what to do. Draupadi was looking at the distant road, the distant pathway which goes to Dwaraka. And Draupadi was thinking that in the assembly of the Kurus, there was only one person who could help me. And I don't know what is going to happen today. And while she was looking at the distant pathway, she suddenly saw dust rising. And from that dust arose a wonderful chariot. And when the chariot came near, from that chariot got down a wonderful personality, Sri Krishna. So when Draupadi saw this, she uttered a verse which was recorded by Sri Vyasadeva. And this verse is in the meter Malini. I'll try to sing it by breaking every line into two parts. Please sing after me. Tamasira virivodyan majjatama plavanam plava iva trishitanam svaduvarshiva megha nidiriva nidananam tivra dukkhamayana vishagiva kushalam no datumayati shauri tamasi ravir ivodyan. She said, in the middle of the night, dear devotees, does sun arise suddenly in the middle of the night? Please tell me. No. But for me, she said, the sun arose. It is as if the sun arose exactly in the middle of the night. Majjatam aplavanam. If a particular person is somehow drowning in the middle of the ocean, does it ever happen that suddenly boats appear from the sky? But for me, it happened today. Trishitanam swadu varshiva megha. Does it happen for a person who is walking in the desert, about to die from thirst, that suddenly clouds appear in the sky and shower rains above him? Does it happen, dear devotees? But it happened for me. Nidhiriva nidhananam. Does it ever happen that a beggar, while walking on the street, suddenly strikes a tremendous gold mine? Has it ever happened, dear devotees? No. But it happened for me. Tivra dukkha mayanam bhishagiva. And does it ever happen that a person who is seriously, fatally diseased and just about to die finds that exact physician who cures him just before his death? Are people usually cured just before their death? No. But it was as if I am cured today. Why? Because Kushalam no, to give us auspiciousness. Ayati Shauri, Shauri has come today. And when Shauri came, the first thing he said, we have nothing to prepare. So Shauri said, don't worry, I'm here. And just that one statement, dear devotees, I'm here, takes away all the distress of the near and dear ones. This is Bhagavan's love for the Pandavas. The Pandavas may cook elaborate feasts and the Pandavas may organize festivals for Bhagavan. And what does Bhagavan give in return? I am here. And this I am here has tremendous weight. Because it is an indicator of his unconditional prema. And this is what prema is, basically. The desire to give happiness to the beloved without expecting anything in return. Bhagavan had not come there for any purpose whatsoever. And they asked, why have you come here? Just like that. Just like that? It's not just like that. I was passing through the way, so I came. That doesn't happen, Krishna. You stay in Dwarka. You can't just be passing just like that. So, dear devotees, I sincerely pray that for all of you, the day when you need Him the most, and the day that you are looking out for Him the most critical day of your life, when you are looking at the pathway of crossing over from this life to the next life, Shauri arrives in your life. So, here is the translation. Please read.
Lord Shauri, who is like a sun rising in the darkness, like a boat to the drowning, like a rain cloud full of sweet water to those dying of thirst, like fabulous wealth to the poverty-stricken, and like an infallible physician to those afflicted with the most painful disease, has come to grant auspiciousness to us.
This verse by Sri Vyasadeva. And dear devotees, did you feel a movement in your heart? Yes. Please say yes or no. Yes. No, wonderful. It is transcendental to Bhartrihari's poetry. You have entered a different domain now. Now you know that a different part of your existence is affected. Chitta. So that poetry was needed to bring us to the point where we become na nirvinno na atisakto, neither too attached nor too detached. That was avidya. But avidya helped us a lot. And this, dear devotees, is vidya. This is vidya. And if you felt a movement within your heart, please note that perhaps you were touched by a very small fragment of what is known as ras. A very small fraction of what is known as ras. And to be touched by ras is to be touched by Bhagavan. Why? Raso vai saha. He indeed is rasa. Who is rasa, dear devotees? Krishna. It is said by Bhagavan, Mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatra tisthami narada. Where devotees sing together, I reside there. But in which row is Bhagavan sitting? Yeah. So Bhagavan is not sitting in a particular row. Bhagavan is sitting in everyone's heart, and Bhagavan touches all of us through the via medium of one particular transcendental substance. And which substance is that? Ras. So raso vai saha rasam hi eva ayam labdhva anandi bhavati. It is rasa, and only on attaining rasa does a particular person attain happiness, the Upanishads say. So if at any point of time you were touched by, or in the future you are touched by any moment of movement in the heart towards Bhagavan, know that it was not ras, but it was a very tiny molecular fraction of it. And those devotees who become more and more expert in churning it, there is a process, ras charvana, how to expertly extract rasa from the writings of the previous acharyas. So when a particular person learns the art of rasa charvana according to the teachings of the previous acharyas, then they become an expert in relishing more and more. It is a culture we have to cultivate. And when we cultivate more and more, gradually a day arrives when a practicing devotee is able to become a rasika. Often we think that we keep following sadhan bhakti, one fine day some divine personality will appear and put his hand on our head and we will suddenly become rasika. Can we please turn on the... yes, thank you. So sometimes we feel, I will practice for 20 years. After 20 years, on 1st January 2056, somebody will appear and put his hand on my head, and that day I will become a rasika. Dear devotees, relishing these verses is sadhana. Try to understand this. Manera smarana pran. Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, the life air of the mind is smaranam. And if one does not give oxygen to the mind, pretty soon the mind dies. And you know what happens to dead entities? Who eats them? Vultures. So don't let your mind die, because there are vultures in the world outside willing to pick on your mind. Keep the mind alive through smaran. And manera smaran pran. Smaran is the life of the human mind. If this is Dwarka, what to speak of? Vrindavan. Dwarka, Hastinapur, Mathura and Vrindavan. Dear devotees, it is often said, and many of you might have heard, Bhagavan is perfect in Dwarka. Yes? More perfect in Mathura. And most perfect in? But dear devotees, I often say, Bhagavan is imperfect in Dwarka, more imperfect in Mathura, and most imperfect in Vrindavan. That's a fact. The greatest amount of transcendental, I have to add that term, transcendental imperfections that Bhagavan shows is not in Dwarka. is not in Mathura, but it is in Vrindavan. But we consider these imperfections to be his ultimate perfections. Anyways, more glorious than Goloka is Gokula. And I had specified that. Sri Rupa Goswami says in Lagu Bhagavatamritam. Please repeat after me. Yattu Goloka namasya tacca Gokula vaibhavam. So, Yattu Goloka namasya tacca Gokula vaibhavam. That which is named as Goloka, dear devotees, Goloka is in the spiritual world. That is merely an opulence of Gokul. And Gokul is Bhagwan's abode here on planet Earth. And as I said, it is more sweeter than even the spiritual world. And when I say Gokul, I don't mean Gokul as it is seen in 2026 with all the concrete. Alright, please don't have that impression of Gokul. Gokul as it was seen 5,000 years ago when Sri Krishna appeared along with his internal potency. And when Sri Krishna went from 0 to 16 years of age. That Gokul is sweeter even than Goloka. And many of us think that because it belongs to the material world, there must be some material miseries there. But there are zero material miseries in Gokula. Sri Jiva Goswami has conclusively proved in the Sandarbhas that even in Gokula, none of the devotees suffers anything at all. No material miseries. When they are seen to be suffering from separation, it is actually a manifestation of bhakti ras. It is not material suffering. And for those of us who don't understand this easily, I will give a very simple example from the mundane world, so that it becomes easier to understand. Alright. So the place where I come from is known as Mumbai, and Mumbai is famous for spoiling entire India. So there is one industry in Mumbai, and what is it called? Bollywood. Oh, wow, all the brahmacharis know very well. No further comments. All right, dear devotees. See, a brahmachari should also be allowed to have his private Shringar Shatakam. I never deny. Just don't publish it, all right? Anyways, so Bollywood has taken responsibility for spoiling entire India, because every year Bollywood churns out millions of songs of love, and these songs are broadly categorized into two categories: songs of happy union and songs of sad separation. Can you please tell me which songs are appreciated more, happy songs or sad songs? All of you are Rasik devotees. So, it seems that all of you are experienced enough. Huh? Updated. So, why do you enjoy sadness? Please tell me. Sad songs make you happy or sad songs make you sad? So the living entity never wants any sadness. Why do we enjoy sad songs?
Because we feel connected to that.
Huh? Wow, so much ignorance that we think it is. It's a vicarious feeling. All right. Please do. Please don't apply Vairagi philosophies to the domain of ras. Yeah. Somebody feels same like us. Yeah. Please turn on the, whenever it goes off, please just turn it back on. Sukhava Mataji, you want to say something? In the intensity of it, yeah. So, dear devotees, even in the material world, separation, hearing songs of separation generates a feeling of happiness within the heart, and for relishing that feeling of happiness, people listen to songs of separation. And this originates not in the material world. The original is in which world? Spiritual world, in Goloka Vrindavan. And therefore, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan will say in his commentary to Laghu Bhagavatamritam, Viraha Maha Ananda. Viraha is Maha Ananda. Or separation is the greatest joy that can be experienced. And therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent the final years of his life in Jagannath Puri, relishing not pastimes of union, but mainly pastimes of separation. Because separation is often more relishable even than union, and the perverted reflection of that can be seen even in the material world. Now, all of you are convinced? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. No? Separation? Please tell me yes or no loudly. You are convinced separation is more relishable? Yes? Yes. How many of you would like to experience separation in the material world? No. But we like to hear about other people's separation. Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I think. I'll not get into that too much. Anyways, when Bhagavan goes from 0 to 16, there are two special pastimes that take place. And Sri Kavi Karnapur in Ananda Vrindavan Champu mentions the following. Please repeat after me. Balyadi Leela Suranasha Leele Lokam Vinanarhata Eva Shobham. Prāṇa-vallabha Prabhu.
Without the earthly abode of Gokul, Krishna's Balya pastimes and his pastimes of killing the demons do not attain elegance.
So these two pastimes take place not in Goloka Vrindavan, they take place in which Vrindavan? Gokul Vrindavan. And hence, to go from 0 to 16, the sweetness of that and the thrill of killing an actual demon is available only in the material world. Are there demons in the spiritual world? See, the audience is divided. Once again, we have a divided audience. Srila Jiva Goswami, Prabhupada gives a conclusion. Please repeat after me. Asurastu na tatra chetana kintu yantramaya tat pratima nibha gyeya. Asurastu tatra, the demons there in the spiritual world, na tatra chetana. They are not actual living entities who are having the ego of a demon. Then what are they? Kintu yantramaya tat pratima nibha, but they are mechanical replicas of demons. So dear devotees, if in the spiritual world there are replicas, mechanical replicas, where can you find original demons? With the ego of a demon. Because you can't have anybody having the ego of a demon in the spiritual world. In the Brihad Bhagavatamritam, Sri Sanatana Goswami will say, Na matsaryadayo dosha. No fault such as envy, etc. exist in the spiritual world. Therefore, there can be no demons in the spiritual world. And therefore, the original demons are found only in the material world. And hence, Krishna's childhood pastimes and pastimes of killing asuras attain elegance only in this particular world. Hence, it is very important to remember Bhagavan's childhood pastimes. Dear devotees, let's dive head on into Bhagavan's childhood pastimes. Our Bhagavan in his childhood, of course, children spend most of their time sleeping. Our Bhagavan also used to do that. But our Bhagavan has one peculiar habit since childhood. He likes to blabber in his dreams. So this habit which he got since childhood is going to trouble him all the way till Dwarka. So he loves to blabber in his sleep. There's a very wonderful verse in the Padyavali where Bhagavan in his dreams starts blabbering something. Here is a verse from Sri Padyavali, and the verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam, same as Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Can we sing together, dear devotees? Yes, let's sing together. Shambho Swagatamāsya Tamita Ito Vāmena Padmodbhava Kraunchare Kushalam Sukham Surapate Viteshano drishyase Itham swapnagatasya kaita bharipo Shrutva jananya gira Kim kim balaka jalpasityanuchitam Thut kritam pantuva. Dear devotees, don't you love singing verses? Yeah? Singing verses is part of one of the Vedic branches called as Chanda Shastra. And Chanda Shastra is avidya, dear devotees. Look how wonderful avidya is when it is combined with vidya. So, anyways, coming back to the pastime, Bhagavan is just a small child, is just 3 or 4 years old, and one day he saw Nanda Maharaj preparing for worship of a particular deity. So Shri Krishna asked in his broken voice, whose worship? So Nanda Maharaj said, Indra's worship. So that year he was not going to stop Indra Puja. Acha, Indra's worship. Who is Indra? And Nanda Maharaj said, don't you know who is Indra? He is ruler of Swarga, heaven. Acha. That night he went to sleep, and in his sleep he is thinking of himself as ruler of Swarga. And sitting on a royal throne, he says, Shambho swagatam Shambho Shiva. Swagatam, welcome. Ito, sit here on my right hand side. Vamena Padmodbhava, lotus born Brahma, come here, sit on my left hand side. So Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all three. Kraunchare, oh Kartikeya, Kushalam, are you okay? Kartikeya is the commander-in-chief of the Devatas. Are you okay? Sukham Surapate, Indra, are you happy? I am sorry I removed you from your post. Viteshano drishyase, Vitte, O Kuber, treasurer of the Devatas, you are not seen nowadays. We have some accounts pending. So he is blabbering in the sleep like this. Itham swapnagatasya kaitabaripo. In this way, in his sleep, Bhagavan blabbers. Shrutva jananya gira. And somebody heard. Mother Yashoda. Shiva, sit on my right side. Brahma, sit on my left side. Kartikeya, are you okay? Indra, please be happy. Sorry I removed you. Kuber, we have to settle accounts. Oh, Mother Yashoda. Kim balaka. What nonsense are you telling? Anuchitam. What nonsense? And suddenly, Thut kritam patuva. Krishna, wake up. Thu. What happened? What are you saying? No, nothing. What happened? Never say like this again. Say sorry to Bhagavan Shiva. Okay, sorry Bhagavan Shiva. Thut kritam. May this spitting by Mother Yashoda to wake him up and prevent any ill omens. Pantuva protect all of you, dear devotees. Please read, Prabhu.
Shiva, welcome. Sit down. Brahma, you sit at my left. Kartikeya, auspiciousness to you. Indra, happiness to you. Kuera, what happened? You are not seen much nowadays. Hearing Krishna say this, Mother Yashoda said, Child, what nonsense are you saying? Then proceed to spit in order to prevent any ill omens. May this action of Mother Yashoda protect you all.
So this, dear devotees, is childhood pastimes. Of course, after a few days, he attained great expertise in playing his favorite flute. One thing I say about flute, that in English it becomes flute, in the Sanskrit it is having different names. because in Sanskrit it is called Venu. How do you translate Venu? Flute. Vamshi? Murli? So everything becomes flute, dear devotees. And although Sri Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says there are three different entities, Vamshi, Venu, Murli. So when the British first came to India, they saw many tropical fruits. And the British had one prominent fruit which was apple. So when they came to India, they started naming fruits after apples. So what is known as ananas in the entire world, in English they called it pineapple. And what is known as sitafal, they called it custard apple. What is known as talfal, they called it ice apple. And they also gave the computer the same name, dear devotees. So this is just an example of what it means to say much is lost in translation. So this is what it is. Much is lost in translation. So Bhagavan started playing upon his flute, and in the Ananda Vrindavan Champu, Sri Kavi Karnapur says the elderly gopis gathered around him and started joking with him. The verse is in the meter, Vasanta Tilakam, please sing after me. He Krishna Matra Kuchachu Chukachu Shanepi Nalam Yadeta Dadaroshta Putam Tavasi Tenadyate Katipayeshu Dineshva Kasma Kasmad Guroradhigatah Kalavenu Vadah. Hey Krishna. Suddenly after a few days he started playing expertly. Matra kucha chuchuka chushanepi nalam. Yadeta dadaroshta putam. Your lower lip, which is like a lotus bird, your lower lip we saw a few days ago, it was not even able to properly latch upon the breast of Mother Yashoda. The devotees, when young children start drinking milk, they often find it difficult to latch upon the mother's breast. So, etad adaroshta putam tavasit. Your lower lip was not even able to properly grapple the breast of Mother Yashoda. Tenadyate katipayeshu. Using that same lower lip, you are able to grab the flute nicely and play expertly. Kasmad guru radhigatah kalavenu vada. Which guru you approached recently to learn this flute play? There is a hidden message in the verse. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
Oh Krishna. Oh Krishna.
Yeah.
Oh Krishna.
Yeah.
That lower lip of yours was incapable of even properly suckling upon the breast nipple of your mother. Please tell us, which guru did you approach recently to quickly attain expertise in the melodies of flute play using that same lower lip?
Of course, when you have to impress somebody, the knowledge comes automatically. I hope you are able to understand. Necessity is the mother of invention. So a Bhagavan doesn't have to approach a guru for learning flute play. He needs to learn it because he knows it is going to be very important very soon. And this Vrindavan is therefore so glorious. It is so glorious. Sri Rupa Goswami says the glories of Vrindavan are inexplicable even for Bhagavan. There is a wonderful verse in the Padyavali. In the meter Malini, I'll sing this verse. Please repeat after me. I'll break every line into two parts. Kathamavi tava vrinda Ranya mahatmya vrindam Nahi kathayitum uchay Ishwaropi ishwarasya Api chatrina phalana Yasya lubdho rasaya Prabhu Amrita Bhujama प्याश्रयद् वत्सभावम् कथम अपि तव वृंदारण्य, O Vrindavan forest, कथम अपि तव महात्म्य वृंदम, your glories, न हि कथयितुम् उच्चैर ईश्वरो अपि ईश्वरः स्यात्. Even Ishwar will not be Ishwar, even Bhagwan will not be sufficient to describe your glories. Your glories cannot be described in words, your glories can only be experienced by a certain individual. It is not to be described in words. And therefore Bhagwan also wanted to experience something. And what did he want to experience? Api cha trina phalanam yasya lubdho rasaya. Bhagwan also wanted to experience the sweetness of the grass and the sweetness of all the fruits. And for this reason, O Vrindavan, I believe, Sri Rupa Goswami says, I believe it was for this reason that Bhagwan became the calves and the cowherd boys. Oh, dear devotees, this oh is which rasa? Chamatkar. Rase saras chamatkaro yam vinana raso rasa. The essence of all rasa is chamatkar, without which no rasa is truly rasa. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
O Vrindavan forest, when it comes to describing the extent of your glories, even the Supreme Lord Krishna finds himself to be utterly incapable. Being desirous of tasting the grass and fruits of this wonderful forest, the very same Krishna, the Lord of the nectar-tasting demigods, turned himself into a vatsa.
So, dear devotees, in this particular verse, Sri Rupa Goswami has made use of a figure of speech which is called as, please repeat after me, Utpreksha.
Utpreksha.
Utpreksha is when a historical incident occurs and a poet gives a poetic reason behind it. I hope you are able to understand. A historical incident has occurred that Bhagwan became the cowherd boys and calves. To add to the sweetness of that, a poet gives a reason from his own mind that this might have been the reason why this has happened. So this particular figure of speech or literary ornament is known as Utpreksha. And one of the most expert poets in Utpreksha is Sri Harisuri, who wrote the commentary on the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam. Because when in Damodar Leela the milk starts boiling, he says the milk is boiling because the milk wants to commit. Because the milk is thinking, if Krishna is drinking Mother Yashoda's breast, what is the use of my life? Therefore, better let me commit suicide. And seeing this, Bhagwan didn't want his devotee to commit suicide, so Bhagwan indicated to Mother Yashoda to go save that particular devotee. So it was not Mother Yashoda's fault that she left Krishna. Sri Harisuri wants to relieve Mother Yashoda from the fault of leaving Krishna. That is the reason why he composed that verse. It was not Mother Yashoda who left Krishna. It was Krishna who wanted her to leave and save his beloved milk. And when Sri Krishna takes a little bit of dirt and eats, puts it in his mouth, then Sri Harisuri says, look at the wonderful glories of Sri Vrindavan. Even an ordinary boy, when he puts a little grains of dust of Sri Vrindavan in his mouth, those grains of dust turn into the entire universe. Wow. If you were touched by wow, you were touched by somebody. To find this wow is very difficult in this world, dear devotees. It is very difficult to find this wow in relationship with Sri Krishna. And the purpose of life is to find this wow in relationship with Sri Krishna, constantly. Like Gaurang Darshan Prabhu was quoting that verse in the morning. Gopyas tapah kim acharat yadamushya rupam lavanya saram asamordhvam ananya siddham digbhir pibanti anusavabhinavam durapam. His body appears constantly new. Constantly new. Relationships in the material world decay because the newness goes away. And what about if newness is constantly ensured in the personality of the beloved? Well, then we would like to stay with them forever. And then the vow is there forever. And all of us want that forever vows. Even for Krishna, the vow exists forever. Why? Because infinite jivas keep coming to the spiritual world and get added to eternal associates. So Sri Krishna also constantly keeps saying one word. Which word?
Wow.
And the living entities also. They see constantly Nitya Nutan, constantly new Sri Krishna. So the living entities also say, wow. And this is the magic of Bhakti Ras. Anyways, childhood pastimes are okay, but you know where the sweetest pastimes lie. Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada once introduced a devotee to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he said, this devotee is a wonderful devotee, and when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was introduced to this devotee, this particular devotee is named Sri Raghupati Upadhyay. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first question to Sri Raghupati Upadhyay was, tell me what you have learnt about Krishna. So dear devotees, I often say that such a day may arrive sooner or later in our lives when perhaps our Gurujanas may introduce us to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I pray that it happens as soon as possible for all of you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu may ask the same question. Tell me something about Krishna. Oh, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, but tell me something rasik. Well, I didn't learn anything beyond that, In my course, I was taught only that. So, dear devotees, that's not the sort of devotee we should become. One of the 26 qualities of a devotee is kavi. Kavi means poet. And a devotee should at least have appreciation for poetry, or if possible, try to compose new poetry. It's very important for a devotee to have a poetic heart. Sri Raghupati Upadhyay was ready with his answer. This is a very nice verse from the Padyavali, later included in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please repeat after me. Shyamameva param rupam Puri Madhupuri Vara Vayah Kaishorakam Dhyeyam Adya Eva Parorasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Hare Krishna, my pranams, Maharaj. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have understood 4 things in life. These are my conclusions. Please repeat after me. Shyamameva param rupam.
Shyamameva param rupam.
See, I saw many forms in the world. But the highest saundarya, the highest beauty, I found in one particular form, and it was the form of Shyam. That form having a bluish lotus-like effulgence in the middle of the night, he who comes out from the Yamuna, with his body fully drenched in the water droplets of Yamuna, his hair fully drenched in the waters of the Yamuna. After tying his hair, he puts a peacock feather on top of it, sits down casually, puts on his garland which is hanging liberally from his neck, and then takes his flute and plays the sweet 5th note which resounds in the entire forest. This form is the most beautiful form I have ever seen. You see, many of you closed your eyes. Please open. Yeah? We have to go ahead. We have to go ahead. I understand all of you are already trapped. I understand you are trapped now. There is no going back from here. But let's move ahead. Puri Madhupuri Vara. And amongst all places to reside, Madhupuri, Mathura Mandal, Vraja Mandal, this is the best place to reside. And even with Shyam, he has many phases of life: childhood, adolescence, teenage. Vayaha, the best age of his life, Kaishorakam, Kishore, is around 16 years of age. Because it is in this 16th year of age that love is at the most innocent point, where his love is not tainted by royalty, where his love is not affected by the royalty of Dwarka or Mathura. In Vrindavan, 16 years of age is the perfect age. Neither too less nor too high. That's the age perfect. That's when the sweetness of the pastimes is the greatest. Sri Radha is in this age, Sri Radha is in the mood of what Sri Rupa Goswami calls Mugdha Naika. Mugdha Naika is a female protagonist or a lady who is very innocent in her dealings, very shy and innocent in her dealings. Mugdha Naika. Sometimes she shows the characteristics of Madhya Naika. Madhya is sometimes she shows a little boldness. But she never becomes Pragalbha Naika. She never becomes very bold. Sri Radha is always shown by Sri Rupa Goswami as Mugdha Naika, Madhya Naika. Very shy and slightly bold. Satyabhama is Pragalbha Naika. She is very bold. So the mood of Bhagavan and Sri Radha is also at the optimum point of sweetness at this particular age. See, Sri Rupa Goswami's poetry, there is no trace of vulgarity. I hope you are able to understand. There is no trace of vulgarity in such poetry. Those who say we will fall down by reading Sri Rupa Goswami's poetry have never even touched Sri Rupa Goswami's poetry, really. They don't even have an iota of idea what Sri Rupa Goswami's poetry is. Or either they have heard it from such an improper speaker who can bring down the divine into the profane. Adya eva paro rasa. And there's only one ras in my life. The original, the one and the only, golden colored, 24 karat gold, Madhurya Ras. I have absolutely no hesitation in admitting it. Sri Raghupati Upadhyay says that I am a thorough devotee of this rasa. Here is the translation.
The form of Shyamasundar is the supreme form. The city of Mathura Mandal is the supreme abode. Krishna's fresh youth, Kaishora, should always be meditated upon, and Madhurya Ras is the supreme Ras.
When Sri Rupa Goswami describes it, it will touch here. Dear devotees. It won't affect any part of your physical body. It will touch that one important part of your body which needs that transformation, which is the heart. And therefore in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Ras Leela, at the end of the Ras Leela, Sri Shukadev Goswami says, Vikriditam vrajavadhu biridam cha Vishnu Shraddhan vitonu shrunuyad varna yedyah Bhaktim param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam hridrogamashva pahinotya chirena dhira. Hearing faithfully from the authorized sources will have such an effect on your heart that the disease of the heart, lust, Kamdev, will be driven away very soon. And then you will walk freely in the world, not hiding your face from Kamadev. And how many of us wish to walk freely in the world? Dear devotees, please raise your hands. Unafraid of Kamadev. Yes? There is one solution which Sri Rupa Goswami mentioned yesterday. Kintu spita kalinda shaila tanaya. Slightest beginning. But you need to be that rasik. You can't have a dry heart. It is not for the dry-hearted. It is not for the dry-hearted. Sri Rupa Goswami therefore says, I was expecting Sri Rupa Goswami to say that Madhurya Ras is not for those who are too materialistic. But Sri Rupa Goswami says the exact opposite in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Please repeat after me. Nivrittanupayogitvad Duruhatvadayam rasah. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
This Madhurya Ras is unfit to be relished by those who are too detached.
Those of you who understand Sanskrit, please tell me what is Nivritta, attached or detached? Nivritta, unupayogitvat. It is unupayogi. It is useless for the over-detached. Why is it useless? The question arises. Because Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada will not write even half a syllable which is meaningless in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And therefore, Sri Jiva Goswami, commenting upon this, says, Nivritteshu prakrita rasa shringara rasa samadrishtya bhagavataadapi asmad rasad virakteshu anupayogitvat ayogyatvat. Amongst those who are detached, which means those who are running away from Maya, there are individuals who think of all Madhurya Ras as being similar to mundane romance. Thus, such individuals stay away from Madhurya Ras even if it is given in one literature. Which literature, dear devotees? Bhagavatam. Such renunciates are ineligible and this rasa is not suitable for them. Hence, I was telling that you need to have a certain type of a heart to relish this particular type of rasa. It is not for those who are overly detached, those who are trying to run away from Maya everywhere in the material world. This rasa is not meant for them. If we have had our hearts purified first by cultivating essential elements of avidya, and then by adding on top of it Vidya by Sri Rupa Goswami, then, dear devotees, there is a possibility that we can reach this particular point. Avidya will be needed because we need to understand and accept that there is a material world that exists around us. And that there is no running away from this particular world as long as our body exists. So, this material world that exists around us needs to be understood, accepted and studied in a most holistic manner so that our consciousness can be elevated. And in order to achieve that, there is avidya, essential branches of Vedic philosophy. And after that avidya or essential branches of Vedic philosophy is understood, then obviously we are not going to be a dry renunciate. And this is not about the color of the cloth. Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati is in saffron cloth, but he is writing a commentary on Geet Govindam, dear devotees. We have a commentary on Geet Govindam by Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati. Now please tell me, should a sannyasi touch Geet Govinda? According to the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 7th canto, Narad Muni says a sannyasi should never indulge in poetry, drama and all these things. That's not the duty of a sannyasi. Then what is Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati doing? Because when it speaks about drama or poetry, it speaks about the avidya aspects of drama and poetry. The sannyasi is not supposed to touch the avidya aspects of drama and poetry, which means they should have done it in the previous ashram. Which ashram was that, dear devotees? Grihastha ashram. Or traditionally, when the brahmacharis used to stay under a grihastha guru, in Vedic culture, the brahmacharis would not be under a brahmachari or sannyasi guru. In Vedic culture, brahmacharis would be under the guidance of which guru? Grihastha. Sri Ram went to Vasishtha Muni's ashram, and Vasishtha Muni was a grihastha. Sri Krishna went to Sandipani Muni's ashram. Sandipani Muni was a grihastha. There was an elderly lady in the ashram, the Guru Ma, the mother guru, who would give the motherly touch of affection to the brahmacharis and take care of them when they would fall sick, or treat them exactly like a mother, so that in their childhood they are not deprived of the love of a mother. To be deprived of the love of a mother is the greatest violence that can be committed upon the child, and Vedic culture will never allow this to happen. So if you put a lot of men together without motherly support, it's not going to work very well. And if you put many women without support of the masculine energy, it's not going to work very well. Both genders do not have rights. They have responsibilities. This is Vedic culture. So every traditional Gurukul is supposed to be under the guidance of a Grihastha Guru, because only a Grihastha Guru has the eligibility to light a fire. Traditionally, a sannyasi cannot light a fire. And it is only under the Grihastha Guru that the brahmachari gets the eligibility to light a fire and perform yajna, fire sacrifice. And the mother takes care of the small brahmachari children, teaches them gradually how to take care of themselves. Anyway, so when the heart is purified in this manner, the heart is soft, not hard. When you have not scraped the heart with the sandpaper of over vairagya, then it is possible that eligibility for this rasa may be attained. And once eligibility for this rasa is attained, dear devotees, then you will understand that this rasa is supreme. Sri Jiva Goswami in the Gopal Champu composes a brilliant verse in the meter Malini. Please sing after me. Yadamita rasa shastre Vyanji Vaidagya Vrindam Tadanum Apina Vetum Kalpade Kamiloka Tadakilam Apiyasya Prema Sindau Nakinchin Mithunamajita Gopi Rupame Tad Vibhati. Sri Jiva Goswami says, Yad Amita Rasa Shastre, take the infinite Rasa Shastra of the material world. Take all the romantic literature of the material world. See how confident Sri Jiva Goswami is in dealing with rasa. He's brahmachari, isn't it? He's brahmachari he is. That's the confidence which a brahmachari should have. Why? Trained under proper Gurukul system. And gotten knowledge of Chaturdash Vidya, 14 sciences and 64 arts in Gurukul. His favorite subjects, Vyakarana, grammar, Navya Nyaya, and Kavya, poetics. Some are great at poetics but terrible at grammar, poor poetry. Some are great at grammar but terrible at poetry because they don't have a heart. Here is a combination of a personality who is great in grammar and wonderful in poetry. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada, the backbone of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Confidently navigating through the ocean of ras, not afraid of Madhurya ras, never married in his life, but never afraid of Madhurya ras. Dear devotees, Yad Amita Rasa Shastre. Take all the expertise of the mundane romantic literature. Sri Jiva Goswami says, I have read almost all of it. Take all the expertise of the romantic literature in the world, and I'll ask you in the Western world, which is the, I asked you, right? Huh? Which is the highest love story in the Western world? Romeo and Juliet. Tad anumapina vetum kalpate kamiloka, the ordinary lusty person, anumapina vetum, can't experience even a tiny atom of those mundane romantic literature. The ordinary person walking on the street can't experience even a fragment of the literature of the material world. Because I asked, how many of you experienced love like Romeo and Juliet? Please raise your hands. Nobody, right? Because they died in the end. So if you are still present here, you have not experienced that love. So please tell me with a loud yes or no, is Sri Jiva Goswami correct in his analysis?
Yes.
Tad akhilam api yasya prema sindhavna kinchid. Now all of that mundane romantic literature becomes a tiny drop, insignificant in front of the ocean of prema of a particular couple, Mithunam. And which is that couple? Ajita Gopi. Ajit, Sri Krishna, and Gopi, Sri Radha. Rupam etad vibhati. And they outshine everybody in all the worlds, their devotees. And here is your opportunity to dive into their ocean of prema. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
In the limitless expanse of rasa literature, an enormous variety of romantic expertise has been expressed by the great poets. The typical lusty person cannot grasp even a tiny atom of the vast expertise. Now, all that romantic expertise of rasa literature becomes absolutely insignificant in comparison to the ocean of prema of a particular divine couple. That couple, having the eternal form of Radha Krishna, appears to be the most splendid in the entirety of creation.
And dear devotees, see, in this world there are some opposite words. For example, there is a word, please read loudly, what is the term?
Moralist.
And a moralist is an individual who teaches and lives according to morality. And there is one personality who exemplifies this term.
Shri Ram.
Right? Who is that personality?
Shri Ram.
Bhagwan Ram. And then there is the opposite of, please say, libertine.
Libertine.
An individual who often behaves without moral principles, especially in love affairs. And please name that personality.
Shri Krishna.
Wow. They are devotees. Huh? So I'm now presenting a choice to you, all right? Would you like to fall in love with the moralist or the libertine?
Libertine.
You didn't learn anything from Bhartrihari, did you? See, Ram Navami is coming soon, all right? Last chance. Don't complain later that this person has multiple love affairs. This person is not exclusively dedicated to one individual. Last chance. Raise your hands if you want to fall in love with the moralist. This assembly is terribly low in morals. Really. Even the brahmacharis are not raising their hands. I expected more from the sannyasis, but they are also keeping their hands down. Did you See, once you are brainwashed by a cult, it is difficult to undo the cult. Anyways, you made your decision, all right? So deal with it now. Sri Rupa Goswami says one particular day, the gopis, they all came to near Mansi Ganga. And it was middle of the night. They came because they were hearing the fifth note of the flute, And when they arrived near Mansi Ganga, suddenly the flute stopped. So they said, maybe we have to cross Mansi Ganga and go to the other side. But to cross over Mansi Ganga in the middle of the night, you have to swim, it's difficult. So to cross a river, you need something, devotees. What do you need? Like here it is, devotees. So, when they arrived at Mansi Ganga, they saw that there is one boat suddenly near Mansi Ganga. And one person is sleeping next to the boat. So, they saw this person looks little familiar. Are Krishna? What are you doing near a boat? Where's the boatman? Oh, I am expert in 64 arts. What do you want? Well, we wanted to cross over the Mansi Ganga. Can you help us cross? Yeah, why not? But there is a condition. The verse is in the meter Manda Kranta. I'll sing, please repeat after me. Gopyo yuyam shrinuta sahate naustritiyam nayasma.
Gopyo yunam shrunate sate naustritiyam nayasmat.
Apyaikaikam tadiha bhavati stiramuttarayami.
Abhikam bhavati stiramuttarayami.
Ityuktabhirmasrnanayanayirabhirapiyamano. Gopi bharta pulakapatali pravritah patu sosman.
Gopi bharta palakapatali pravrita patu sosman.
Gopyo, or gopis, yuyam, all of you here, shrunuta here. See, I agree, I will take you to the other side, that's all right. But, sahate naustritiyam. See, my boat has a problem. It cannot tolerate 3 people. I hope you are able to understand. It can only tolerate the weight of how many people? 2. So, api ekekam. I can take you one by one to the other side. Acha. See, Sri Jiva Goswami says that the gopis sometimes love to give gali. How do you translate gali?
Scolding.
Slang, scolding. There are many translations of that. Loving verbal abusive words, like, So, bhavati stiram uttarayami. So, if you agree, one by one I will drop you to, I promise, I am a man of my word.
I am a moralist.
Moralist. So, dear devotees, he says at this point of time, when the gopis heard this, Masrida nayanir abhirapiyamano. So the gopis also at that point of time looked at him with smiling eyes. See, some people smile through face, some people smile through eyes. Smile through eyes. So, Masrida nayana, smile through their eyes. Apiyamano. He drank those eyes. Devotees. and they drank the sight of him. And as soon as that happened, Gopi Bharta Pulakapatili Pravrita, his body became overcome with his goosebumps. His hair stood on end, simply by their glancing towards him in this loving manner. Patu so asman. May that Bhagavan protect all of us here today. And dear devotees, many of you laughed in this pastime. I would like to tell you one simple fact. Laughter is associated with Hasyaras. And Hasyaras is the closest friend of Madhuryaras. Is the closest friend of Madhuryaras. So, if you are sometimes touched by Hasyaras, please know that its close friend was somewhere around the corner. Here is the translation, Prabhu. Kindly read.
O gopis, please hear me. My boat cannot tolerate the weight of 3 people. Therefore, I will only be able to carry you one by one to the other side. On hearing this, he was bashfully and lovingly gazed upon by the gopis, who drank the nectar of his form through his eyes. May that lover of the gopis, who then displayed goosebumps on his body, protect us all.
Dear devotees, and you have to say loudly, please honestly tell me, the poetry is affecting your physical body or the heart?
Heart.
This is the dignity of Sri Rupa Goswami's poetry. Even though the most esoteric pastimes are going on, but it has the capacity to transform your heart. And this transformation and transcendence of the heart is what is desired. Of course, not every Gaudiya Vaishnava is a relisher of Madhurya Rasa. So we don't want to force this upon everybody. We don't want to turn Madhurya Rasa into an institution of itself. But it is only for the Sahridaya, for the like-minded. So for those who are Sahridaya, those who are inclined, they may be in any ashram or wearing any colored cloth. Sri Rupa Goswami welcomes all such individuals that please relish this literature Padyavali. It was meant for all of you. And tomorrow we'll continue ahead. Yadatra skalitam kinchid vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchid tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skalitam kinchid. It is possible I might have made a mistake in speaking something. Vidvam saha purayantu tat. A particular individual may think it is completely incorrect to speak these pastimes at all. Never speak these pastimes. Even if you feel like that. Purayantu tat. Within your mind, please excuse me. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit. But if you liked anything, tad guroreva, it belongs to my Guru Janas. Me nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to that bhakti rasa. Dear devotees, all glories to that bhakti rasa. Let's dedicate our lives to this one principle. Bhakti rasa. Let's live our lives for bhakti rasa. So that we will be true Rupanugas. Maharaj, I'd like to offer you the mic. And I'd like to ask you if we have time, 10 minutes for Q&A. If not, it's okay, but whatever you desire.
Hare Krishna, first of all, thank you very, very much. And Yes, of course, I think that's the point. Perhaps if we keep to
10 German minutes?
10 German minutes?
Yeah, sure.
The reason being that many devotees approach us, they wish the kirtans to be long enough. Yes, Hare Krishna. But wonderful, and let us go with the flow.
Okay, I will. All right, yes. Hari Pran Prabhu. Yes, yes, the mic.
The Padyavalli, there's a series of verses where Krishna, even though he's a baby, he's displaying symptoms of Madhurya Ras.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, what do those verses represent? Like a partial manifestation of Madhurya Ras, which will then fully blossom later? Or is the full Madhurya Ras present even in baby Krishna? Could you speak a little about that?
That section of the Padyavalli is called Shaishavepi Tarunyam. Shaishavepi Tarunyam means even in infancy, he is displaying the full extent of Madhurya Ras. Now, so I can't discuss some of the verses here, right? Because I'll have to give a big explanation about it before speaking those verses. So, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Siddhanta regarding this is mentioned. What is the Siddhanta regarding this? And I'll quote Srimad Bhagavatam. In Sri Akrura's prayers, please repeat after me. Bahumurti ekamurtikam. Bahumurti ekamurtikam, which means infinite forms are present within this one particular form. And which form is that? Shri Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj, so much. Bahumurti ekamurtikam. Infinite forms are present within this one form of Shri Krishna. Therefore, Shri Krishna is Purna Purushottam Bhagavan at all stages of life in his age from 0 to 16. And therefore, the possibility of such pastimes even in infancy. Although, to speak such pastimes on a public platform will require some explanation before. I am not of the opinion that one should never speak. See, I don't want to give that dry-hearted opinion. But it requires that backup of explanation before you speak something. There are no unspeakable topics in Sri Rupa Goswami's literature. If there would be, Sri Rupa Goswami would have mentioned them. But Yojakas Tatra Durlabha. There's a very nice verse. Amulam amantram aksharam nasti. Nasti moolam anaushadham. Ayogya purusho nasti. Yojakas tatra durlabha. There is no alphabet which is not a mantra. There is no leaf which is not a medicine. And there is no human being who is not eligible. But the proper person is needed to bring about the mantra or the eligibility. So, Sri Krishna's, all of his ages are manifested in all of his ages. That is why Sri Krishna is Bahumurti Ekamurtikam. That is the, I hope that answers your query.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll go one to Vaishnavi's side. Yeah. Okay. We took one from you recent. We'll give to yeah. Thank you. Let's give behind. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Today we were my friends and I, we were having a discussion about like Bhakti Ras, and we were just reflecting on, especially growing up in the movement, we've been encouraged to see Krishna in a more in a personal way. So how to understand if like natural feelings are coming up, but like maybe we do more service for the deities and we, treat them like in a more, intimate, personal way. Just how to understand that we're not being sentimentalists. Should we nurture those feelings? Are we engaging in rasabhas. Like, I'm not exactly knowing how to phrase the question, but I hope you understand.
I understand. So I'll first specify the general rule that is given by the previous acharyas. In 7.132, it is said, please read the last two lines after me. Tasmat kenapyupayena manah krishne niveshayet. You still have the mic with you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Please read this highlight. Please read from here.
Therefore, one must somehow think of Krishna, whether in a friendly way or inimically.
So, Sri Rupa Goswami says, remove the inimically, because anukulyena Krishna anushilanam. Somehow or other, think of Krishna. So, if our own mind is eager to think of Krishna, it's actually a very good thing. That the mind is becoming eager to think of Krishna. Yet, at the same time, guidance from a guru is needed. Because the guru is trained in Vaishnava Shastras and the guru says what things should be done and what things should not be done in one smaran. I'll give a very small example. Srila Jiva Goswami says in the Sandarbhas, one may meditate upon serving the deity, but one should never directly kiss the deity. So, this is one precaution that Sri Jiva Goswami gives in the Bhakti Sandarbha. Once you are guided by a guru who has that knowledge of Bhakti Shastra, and then they prepare you in those meditations, because the meditations also is a culture and you have to prepare yourself. There are two types of pastimes, Naimittika Lila, Nitya Lila. Naimittika Lila is pastimes that occurred 5,000 years ago historically. That is called Naimittika Lila. Nitya Lila are pastimes that are occurring constantly even now, 24 hours a day. So the Guru first trains us in Naimittika Lila and Nitya Lila. And when the Guru trains us in Naimittika and Nitya Lila, under the guidance of the Guru and taking precautions as given by the Guru, then we get the adhikar, the eligibility, not the right, the eligibility to enter on the path of Smarana. Before that, this generic understanding is there. I hope you are able to understand. Better that not remembering Krishna is to remember Krishna. But when the Guru is not present, then let's try to remember Krishna according to the directions of Srila Prabhupada and previous acharyas as much as possible to avoid any risks. But it is best to get a personalized Guru who can train us in the art of remembering Krishna. I hope that satisfies your query.
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Okay, one last query from this side. Yes, we have Gaur Govind Prabhu. Prabhu, easy questions only. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You have mentioned the term Rasa Charvana.
Ras Charvana.
Ras Charvana. Could you elaborate a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Charvana is chewing. Charvana may be called as chewing. A human being chews. A cow ruminates. I don't know how many of you have seen a cow doesn't eat in the first instance. And those who have stayed in a village in their childhood will understand. In Hindi, it's jugali karna. So, the cow doesn't eat and consume it in the first instance. She stores it and then brings it out again and then ruminates upon it. That's called charvana. So what happens is you see a verse for the first time and you get the meaning out of it, and you don't just swallow it directly. You keep it in the back of your mind and then from time to time you ruminate upon it. Till the time you are able to understand the entire mood of the verse. Because when the author took the trouble of composing the verse, the author must have been, wow, I must put it down. Your aim is to reach that wow. The author is not just, I have nothing else to do, so let me compose a verse. That's not how these verses are written. The author was in a state of, wow, I must put it down. before I lose this train of thoughts. So to become truly sahriday, like-minded to the author, is to reach the same conclusion and say, wow, yeah, that's what he was thinking of when he composed that verse. And when you become a greater expert, sometimes you can have greater relishment than the original author, in some cases. Right? Depends on your expertise. Okay. So this is charvana, the process of ruminating upon a particular verse given by previous authors. So, but the 10 German minutes are over. I would like to respect the time factor here because devotees are waiting for Kirtan. Thank you very much, dear devotees. We'll meet again tomorrow with some sad pastimes. Alright? Hare Krishna.